What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got more Fall of the House of X. This time by way of Dead X-Men issue number 3. And this Dead X-Men series has been pretty dope in connecting with the Rise of the Powers of X series. And if you guys need to get caught up with the series, then I'll place a card at the top of the screen for the Dead X-Men playlist, and a link at the end of the video for the whole Fall of the House of X and Rise of the Powers of X playlist. But if you guys are ready to find out if these Dead X-Men are able to find and stop this psycho version of Moira X and her weapon M, then you know what time it is. Let's get it. So this issue picks up right after the events of issue number 2 and the death of that timeline's Emma Frost. And now the Dead X-Men have been sent to Moira's 9th life, where she sits next to Apocalypse's throne. In this Moira and Apocalypse recognize Frenzy, but this timeline's version of Frenzy was taken out by Apocalypse himself. So they immediately suspect that these are either imposters or unwanted visitors from another reality. So as he orders for their destruction, these guys immediately have Rachel get them out of this jam. And then they're taken back to Atlantic Krakoa in the White Hot Room. But Prodigy is ready to jump back in. They've got no time to waste. They've got to stop the rogue Moira. So when Rachel emerges asking why the team is waiting to change plans, they let her know that they're not the only ones traveling to Moira's past lives. Then we get a glimpse of rogue Moira as she visits her 10th life during the trial of Cyclops, and her 3rd life when she creates the cure for the X gene. Then we transition back to Atlantic Krakoa. That's a bit of a tongue twister, Atlantic Krakoa. But right after Rachel learns of how this team caused rogue Moira to gain what she needed to travel her lives. And now Rachel is kind of pissed about it and why she's just now hearing about this. But Jubilee steps in and tells her off, since they had no way of knowing what was happening until they witnessed the aftermath of Moira's 7th life. But you guys already know how I feel about it. These guys should have cleaned up their mess. Although I do realize they probably didn't know what the crystals they left behind were, so hey, it's over with now. But anyway, Prodigy accepts the blame, and he acknowledges that they being there changed how everything played out. That version of Moira wasn't supposed to complete her weapon, and Prodigy wasn't supposed to get this crystal shard in his chest. Though Rachel acknowledges that the timing couldn't be worse because Xavier is speaking to Moira in her 10th life right now when she's still a child. And everything depends on them getting through to her and changing her mind. And if rogue Moira affects her past or finds her way to Xavier, then everything could be screwed. Which, according to Prodigy, that's why Rachel needs to keep sending them back. They've got to intercept rogue Moira before she blows up everything. But Rachel reminds them that targeting these lives is extremely difficult, even without no place being under assault like it is right now. Dazzler, though, she chimes in that each jump has put them close to a Moira so far, or at least someplace relevant to her. And Jubilee adds that Prodigy absorbed Moira's mental map, so it figures that they wouldn't randomly end up on the other side of the world as Moira when they follow it. So Cannonball deduces that maybe all these jumps are putting them closer towards the end of things. Kind of like Moira's anchor point on these past lives is how they wrapped up. But there's no guarantee that rogue Moira is following any of these rules. She's just hacking and slashing her way through time and space. But Jubilee doesn't care. And if Xavier is in the middle of his mission, then she doesn't want to be the reason it goes haywire. So Rachel decides that she'll just try to fling them back and forth until they end up in the same place as rogue Moira. But Prodigy lets her know that Moira did mention that she wants to go back to the beginning, so they need to go to Moira's first life. So this helps give Rachel something to aim at, but she still can't guarantee that the team will end up there. Then we look in on Moira's 6th life, and rogue Moira cuts into this timeline and begins fighting an older version of Wolverine. But this fight doesn't last very long as Moira uses her weapon M to cut through Logan, and then lets it be known that she's getting closer to her destination. So as we cut back to the Dead X-Men team, As Rachel gets ready to send them back in, all she could do is hope that they reach where they need to be. Then we see Rachel back at No Place, and she decides that she needs to check on the professor while Rasputin takes on the invaders outside, because he's been gone for quite a while now. And I wonder if when she goes to check in on him, she finds out that his true intentions are more than just a conversation with Moira. But we'll just have to wait and see. But we then are taken to a medical center on Earth's moon, and this version of Moira is unconscious and under the care of Dr. Hank McCoy, and I believe that's Dr. Cecilia Reyes. And as the dead X-Men team is teleported in, an alarm goes off because this facility had recently been attacked by Sentinels. These guys stationed here are on high alert and they think that it's happening again. But Beast notes that this time they're prepared. And as the dead X-Men team realize that this can't be Moira's first life, they're quickly met by this timeline's X-Men: Cyclops, Psylocke, Wolfsbane, Sway, and Banshee. And we can see that this is Moira's fifth life, as the Psylocke-led team straight goes on the attack, no questions asked. As Banshee unleashes his trademark scream on the dead X-Men team. But Dazzler is able to turn sound into light, which she does, and redirects it towards Banshee, knocking him back. Meanwhile, Prodigy is trying to reason with Cyclops that they're on a mission. But Cyclops tells Prodigy that his mission is working with his wife and his squad to keep mutant kind safe, as he then fires an eye blast at him. And I think that Prodigy's reaction is a proper representation of how people reading this will react, just as I did when hearing that Cyclops is married to Psylocke in this timeline. I guess in any timeline, Cyclops really has a thing for telepaths, huh? But as Cannonball flies in to protect Jubilee from Wolfsbane, he's then stopped by Sway as she freezes him in place. Then we see Frenzy taking on Psylocke, and Frenzy's trying to explain to her that they are not enemies, and they're not there to fight. But Psylocke fills her in on the recent Sentinel attack just a week ago, and now she sees the faces of dead or duplicated friends with severe psychic defenses, so she's not willing to take any chances here. So Frenzy tells her to go ahead and read her thoughts so she can see that they're not there to hurt them. They're there because... And then Frenzy is interrupted by someone else who appears saying, "Hoping to find little old me, isn't that right?" Then we can see that Psylocke recognizes the face of this person, saying that you're out of your coma? But then she and everybody else are immediately tossed back when it's revealed that this is the rogue Moira the dead X-Men team have been searching for. And Moira and her Weapon M just came in and wrecked shop on everybody in the room. Then tells them all, "Oh, I'm not the Moira you used to, lassie. She's a saint by comparison. I'm much more fun." And ladies and gentlemen, this is where the issue ends. Damn, y'all, this series has been better than I originally expected, and this Weapon M, in my opinion, is the true star of this series. And with only one more issue left in this miniseries, how do you guys think the finale is gonna go? It definitely looks like we're gonna get that rematch between Moira and the dead X-Men, but at least they've got some backup here. I also bet unconscious Moira wakes up too. But what did you guys think about this issue in this series so far? And also thinking back to the conversation that the dead X-Men team had with Rachel about them jumping back and forth between the timelines, I'm thinking that shard in Prodigy's chest has something to do with them constantly being placed within vicinity of Rogue Moira. I think that his shard of the Macan crystal and the one that Moira has are probably trying to reconnect with each other. So I think that's kind of like the anchor that's keeping them close. What do you guys think so far about this issue? And how did you guys react to finding out this timeline Cyclops is married to Psylocke? Would you guys want to marry a telepath? I don't think I would. You wouldn't be able to hide anything from her. You can't lie about who ate the last piece of cake or how much money you lost playing poker with the boys or whatever else it is that people lie about. But one thing is for certain, I need me a replica of that Weapon M. So dope. But y'all get in those comments and let me know how you think this series will end. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you can do so by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership. And there'll be a link in the description to join. But with your membership, you'll gain access to weekly interactive live streams with yours truly in front of the camera. And we could talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, especially this here Dead X-Men issue, as well as others that you'd like for me to go over in the future. And you can get a preview of what's to come on the channel, as well as other comic book news. But you'll also get loyalty badges, member shoutouts, and more in these videos. Or you guys can donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do that, then you can still be a big help to the channel by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out. Peace.